So there's a rule of parenting that says that you shouldn't address your children's negative behaviors when you're angry. And since all of these Manosphere niggas are my sons now, I felt it best to cut a part of my last video because it may have gotten a little too spicy. What the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas? Seriously, disengage, touch grass, go to therapy, and you might end up getting some. You might. So now, having calmed down and gotten all the negativity out my system, I'm hoping to have a meaningful conversation about what misogyny is and what it does to people. So let's go. As I looked at different responses to my last video, one criticism I got was that the "y'all niggas hate women" response is lame and oversimplistic and allegedly false. And that's wrong, and I don't believe that. But I do want to dig deeper into why I came to that conclusion and why some of y'all think that this hatred of women stuff is not true for you. Now, for some of you red pill adjacent types, this may not be true, but for probably more of you, let's just chat for a second and see if anything I say strikes a nerve. I'm gonna try my best. To get it out the way early, for those of you who've been watching Manosphere content since like 2010, this video isn't for you. You can watch it, obviously, but like, I'm not about to say anything that is gonna in any way change your mind. I'm not gonna say you're a lost cause, because anyone can change, and there's always opportunity to change the direction that you're going in if you have breath in your body. But I know that some of y'all are not here to really listen, and I'm not really in a position to have an effect on how you move or understand the world at this point. But for those of you that don't want to be watching Manosphere content for 15 years, like a real comment I saw on someone's video the other day, been watching such and such for 15 years, which is sad. If you don't want to be in the same angry position you are now when you're pushing 40, you may find something useful here. So let's rapport build first. Here's what I think I hear from some folks when they respond negatively to my criticism around misogyny and red pill nonsense. So one is that people are saying they're just calling women out for their toxic behavior. Two, modern women, this and that, modern dating, this and that. Three, oh, but hypergamy and stuff. Four, because I have 4 fingers up, but I wasn't on 4 yet. I don't know what I did there. 4 is misandry, of course. And 5, fair is fair. If I talk to women like some of y'all talk to us, there would be hell to pay. And all of these points I'm hearing can, in some contexts, under certain circumstances, be taken at face value. I can't imagine what it's like to date right now. It sounds fucking horrible. And I know this, hearing it not just from y'all, but from other men my age who are recently divorced or never married and are still dating. Shit sounds bad. And I know that's not a one-way thing. I know that's not just all men, right? And I know part of the frustration, especially with dating app stuff, is that the way that people are allowed to talk about men who don't have money or who don't have, you know, who aren't providers or whatever else can feel icky and frustrating and dehumanizing. There's a ton of negative rhetoric toward men who don't exhibit a certain commodifiable masculinity, who aren't high value. There are women who hate men. There are black women who hate men. There are online communities and YouTube and TikTok channels dedicated for shitting on black men. I am not saying those things don't exist. I've talked about them before. I'm talking about them again a little bit today. And it's very clear that black men who transgress against society in some way get a ton of negative attention, and nobody seems to blink an eye about it. Worse, there are TikTokers and YouTubers who build whole platforms reacting to this stuff, and it feels like you're being purposely torn down. And while most of those divestor adjacent channels are very small and insignificant compared to, say, a DJ Academics or an Andrew Tate, or I don't know, the President of the United States, it doesn't mean that it's not real, or that the rhetoric that some of these entities use doesn't sometimes find its way into the ways that people talk about black men online and offline. I've seen the video where the teachers hyper-focus on the young black boy, and I've talked about the ways in which society is against black men in tons of videos at this point. If you actually watch me, like watch my actual content beyond when some Manosphere dude is reacting to it, You would know this. And I know this because I spent over 10 years teaching and mentoring and doing social work and working in the court system to keep alleged YNs out of jail and even ones that have done awful things. I have empathy for all people, period, but especially for men and the type of men that often do not get it. I want you all to know that I've seen these things. I've experienced a lot of these things and I understand. And in all my work, research, talking to young boys directly, doing mentorship, doing education, and anything you think of about these serious problems. And all my time doing that, I've never seen any reason to come to the conclusion that this is black women's fault, right? This does not mean that there are not bad women or bad black women. Some women are awful. That is not something that should be controversial. But if you've watched my videos on guys like Kanye and Drake and Diddy, etc., you know I never really make content saying X person is awful and here's why. I do not hold people accountable. That's not my thing. I don't think that is a thing on the internet, let alone outside of the internet. And if it was to ever happen, it won't be because someone made a YouTube video. And I think it's pretty silly to think otherwise. And considering how some of you all move, that there are numerous large channels and media entities constantly attacking women, even when it doesn't make any sense. Again, I bring up the example of academics and Cassie, or a bunch of people in Tory Lanez versus Meg. I will always be hesitant to make content along those lines because I know what that type of content ends up contributing to. Mind you, did y'all even watch my video about Dr. Jackie a while back when she used rhetoric that endangered the lives of black women and black children? Or about my critique on black policing, where I spent 30 minutes breaking down the problems of Kamala Harris, and even took time to criticize Atlanta's black woman district attorney, who not only fumbled the Trump case, but wasted taxpayer money on the Young Thug trial and has been allegedly stealing money from citizens. You probably didn't see those videos because that's not the type of hold women accountable content y'all are actually interested in, is it? It's not, because accountability to y'all means something else. So let's dig into that, shall we? That rant I cut out of my last video talks about how I just recently for the first time heard Dochi's song Anxiety all the way through. I had seen snippets of it online and like TikToks and Instagram reels and whatnot, but overall I had yet to actually hear the whole song. I had only basically heard the chorus. And it hit me like why that is. And it's because I don't like that song that much. It's not bad, I'm just not head over heels about it. I'm not going out of my way to listen to it. I actually really like Dochi. Alligator Bites was good, but as I've said before, I'm kind of a day one Dochi fan. I found her off TikTok music a while back with Yucky Blucky Fruitcake, and my favorite Dochi song is Crazy that I found off the Madden soundtrack like 3-4 years ago at this point. So as much as I love that she's successful right now and I'm excited for what comes next with her music, that particular song, which is her biggest hit, is not for me. And it hit me that here I am, a fan of Dochi, but I've never heard this song and I've barely heard it used as a sound or anything on TikTok. But I know that there's tons of you watching right now, or tons of people that I'm describing that aren't watching, that have probably heard this song hundreds or thousands of times. Because these are people that are constantly consuming content about Dochi, even though they allegedly hate her. Meanwhile, I, as a fan of her music, have barely interacted with any of the conversation around her. Isn't that kind of interesting? Considering how active certain spaces are online, I bet that 50% of all the Dochi content on the internet right now is being consumed by anti-woke, red pill adjacent type dudes because she is such a prominent part, or, you know, maybe her wave is over, but for the last like month, she had been a huge part of that media ecosystem. I've heard people say that the Dochi backlash is her fault because she's overexposed, but that only works as an excuse if you don't understand how algorithms work. Dochi is just enjoying the spotlight low-key, like many stars have before, and as is often the case when a black woman has a star-turning wave in social media, she has become a recurring character in the misogyny wars. The same thing happened with Meg a few years ago, and Lizzo maybe around the same time. It happened with Nicki Minaj 10, 15 years ago, in an era before modern social media. This is a thing that tends to happen when women, especially black women, do too much. Like I remember alleged sex tapes with Lil' Kim 30 years ago, and people trying to say Ciara was really a man. There's always these weird rumors that pop up around black women who have star turns in the public. I almost forget about Beyonce selling her soul to join the Illuminati. Now, a lot of that doesn't have anything to do with red pill adjacent stuff, but these days, that definitely is a big part of any backlash against any black women. And again, I have to ask why. Even though you allegedly hate Dochi, you'll spend chunks of your free time paying attention to her. There's anti-Dochi takes all over the place. The comment section for anything related to Dochi is full of sock puppet accounts and weirdos talking about how they don't like her. TikTok and Instagram has a ton of lazy Dochi bad videos, and when she dared to joke about straight men a few months ago, people tried to treat it like she got caught sexually grooming a 13-year-old boy on a live stream. She's a child, nigga! I knew folks were losing it when people said her remix on Timeless ruined the song, when you can just listen to the original song. It's right there. You don't have to hear that remix. But that's the thing. A lot of you guys really want to talk about how much you don't like Dochi. It's low-key your personality at this point. You constantly consume content about her, even if it's content defending her. Whether it's me or Anthony Fantano or anyone else, or some shitty video attacking her from some guy playing Fortnite, you're gonna watch and comment. And again, this isn't just Dochi, it's Meg Thee Stallion, Angel Reese, Haley Bailey. Like, y'all dislike Haley Bailey so much all of a sudden that you're giving DDG love. Right? DDG has gotten more attention for allegedly abusing Haley than when he got her pregnant, and let alone any of the music he allegedly released. Y'all will hate on porn stars and then go watch porn. Make it make sense. Before you get mad and tell me how bad these individual people are, because I'm sure there's some angle you could take to explain how insert woman here is bad, I want you to first ask yourself, why do you care? Is it because you feel like the internet is always attacking you? Are you an abuser? Do you aspire to abuse? Why do you feel such camaraderie with men who are abusers, who are being accused of being abusers? How did you even come to know that insert woman here was bad in the first place? Was it because some red pill creator or streamer or Twitter account that you were watching told you? Probably because they knew how you would react. What were you doing when that information came across your attention? Were you doing anything productive with your life, or staring into your phone looking for something to make you feel alive? Again, it may not be you in particular, but if it isn't, understand you probably know exactly who I'm talking about. You know someone that I'm describing right now, and maybe just this once you should send them this video. Because again, look at the comment sections of anything related to these women, because you all constantly consume this type of anti-woman content. These algorithms learn to feed more of it to you until that's all the internet is to you. It's all you end up seeing whenever you log on. And if you're not aware of how algorithms work, and most people aren't, then you think that negative feedback loop of anti-woman content is how the world is. You think that's normal. So now that I'm explaining to you that it's not, consider why these things bother you so much. Why do you feel the way you feel about an artist or singer or whomever else whose art you generally don't enjoy, but you have really passionate feelings about them? What benefit does that have to you personally? What has being in these spaces really done for you other than give you other people with your same disposition to complain about life with? Statistically, not much. So why are you spending your time leaving mean comments about insert visible woman here rather than catching up on sleep or doing work or developing a new skill, exercising, playing video games, or maybe watching something that you actually enjoy? What do you like besides this type of content? Do you even know anymore? Like, are you aware of what you would watch next after this that you actually like? Not that you're trying to argue in the comments around. There's research that indicates that people do pay more attention to things that bother them than things that they like. So this isn't just you necessarily. This is a somewhat universal phenomenon that's maybe somewhat out of your control, but that then begs the question, what about these particular types of videos, these images of these women bother you so much? Why is it so important that someone do something about these women that you think aren't being held accountable? What does that even mean? The most egregious example of this comes from some of you black red pill types who are addicted to engaging with divestor content, and you really seem to want me or someone to say or do something about it. So first and foremost, I talked about that group relatively in depth in my Black Manosphere video years ago that I'm assuming a lot of you never watched. It is long, but it's good. It's, you know, all my shit's is good, whatever. And the only reason I did that was to get y'all to shut up about it, which was naive of me, because I didn't understand then what I understand now, which is that this is bigger than anything ideological. This is low-key an addiction with y'all, but we're not there yet. But I do want to be clear, that community is vile, as I said in the video, but what did that do about them other than make more people aware of their existence? Do you know what the question I usually get whenever I mention divestors in the video is? It's, what is a divestor? You're gonna see that in the comment section because I'm not gonna explain right now. That's what happens when you address certain toxic groups from a large platform. All you really end up doing is allowing them an opportunity to spread their message. Like I always get the, why don't you debate or talk about insert weirdo here comments. And one of the reasons is that even if I debated whatever weird guy or group you wanted me to debate, the actual end effect of that is giving them more attention and making their ideology more normalized, putting it in the public discourse when really it doesn't have to be there. I have 1 million subscribers now, the vast majority of which have no idea what a divestor is, and I kind of want to keep it that way because whenever I talk about them, I'm basically just sharing my platform with them. Is that what you want? More divestors? And some of y'all are gonna make up a reason to say yes. And that shows me what's really behind your frustration with that group. It's not about defeating that group or holding them accountable. It's about an intrinsic desire you have to do something specifically with a group that you don't like, made up of people with bad ideas. But the problem isn't their ideas, it's their existence, isn't it? Explain to me what you expect to happen if I address them again. Do you think they'll magically vanish, or will they make a video about the video I made about them, put my face on their thumbnail and get more views than they've ever got? Do you seriously think that divestor ideology is popular among black women? Or is it a small but very active group of women online who mostly just say fucked up shit about black men in discords, right? But some of you are so deep into misogyny that you genuinely have convinced yourself that with all the wild stuff going on in the world, that it's black women who you feel are inferior to you that are also somehow simultaneously the most dangerous threat to black people. Black women are both too educated and too masculine and, you know, too stuck up or whatever, have too high standards, but also are a bunch of losers who nobody likes or nobody thinks is pretty and do dumb stuff. Like it's weird. You may think this is hyperbolic that people say these backwards things about black women, but let me refer to the goofiest Manosphere comment I've ever heard that I used in that old Black Manosphere video.
If a black woman would have kept her mouth shut back then, you would not be having World War I and World War II.
Here's something I know a lot of y'all won't agree with, but I just gotta be real. There are different standards for men and women in the world, especially online. And I know that in your heads, you think that women have it easy based on these double standards. You think women get away with things that you can't get away with. You hate the idea that women are not required to be high value in order to be viable on the dating market. You're bitter at the fact that your role in gender politics seems to be passive while theirs is active. And you're just hoping that if you shoot your shot, you'll be chose, while it seems like these women are just, I don't know, swiping right on dating apps and stuff and getting whatever they want out of life. And that's just not true. And even if it was, which it isn't, your response to this shouldn't be to take your frustrations out on random women you don't even know. It'd be to address the system that makes this double standard possible. And you already know what social system that is, but just this once, I won't say it. But I'll give you a hint. It's the same system that makes you desire to see women put in their place. And if you say this isn't the case, you're lying. I've seen your content. Feminists put in her place by facts and logic is literally a genre of video for y'all that always makes money. Why do you think that is? Maybe you don't think this is misogyny. Maybe you don't think this is hate. Fine. But then I have to return to that question, why are you watching it? Why are you watching me for that matter? Was this video sent to you by someone you love? Good, I guess. Hopefully this can create a conversation in the aftermath. But if this came up in your algorithm without you looking for it, then it's probably because the algorithm knows something about you that you probably won't admit to yourself. My algorithm gives me football podcasts, video essays, nerd shit, and every once in a while, a woman on the timeline that looks like Bria Miles. Every blue moon, I might go and look to see what the Manosphere is talking about, but I don't watch them or any type of right-wing content pretty much at all. And that's when it's the off-season and there's not a video game I'm playing. Because aside from the fact that I don't like watching things that I don't like, I also hate the idea that my attention will help people I don't think have good ideas get paid, which brings it to my last point. No shade, but I don't need y'all. I engage in Manosphere related issues out of a sense of obligation, the kindness of my heart. I do it out of wanting to help, not because I need the looks, not because I need the views. My audience is already 70% male. I said this numerous times, but y'all refuse to make sense of that. And please don't tell me that it's white men or black men who hate watch me, because that doesn't make any sense. I ran up on a Manosphere dude the other day who said that the near 300, 400,000 black men who are subscribed to me are just hate watchers somehow. Meanwhile, the old guard of the Manosphere has been around for 20 years. Not one of them has 50K subs, let alone a silver plaque, but somehow I'm able to get hundreds of thousands of men to watch me when they don't like what I'm saying. Y'all are supposed to be the facts and logics people, but it's not true. I make interesting content without y'all. All of these women y'all hate so much, you've had pretty much no effect on them, and they are winning without y'all. The only value that y'all hold, the way y'all act now, is to other Manosphere dudes that play on your insecurity and unprocessed trauma and internalized rage that causes you to pay money to give them super chats to say things that you want to hear people say about other people that you have no tangible connection to, that don't even know you're alive. And because of this, you will remain maidenless once those streams end. You will continue to be broke after you leave that mean comment on somebody else's video as a tip for them. That nasty tweet you wrote won't make you any more desirable. It's quite likely that if you're anywhere between 15 to 25, research shows that if you're a red pill dude watching this, then you're really just going through a destructive, wasteful phase of your life. And you will only come to regret your time spent in this phase when it's all over. That's not me making up some left-wing shit. That's what the research tells us. So the question I ask is, how long are you gonna waste your time there, making other dudes rich off of your unprocessed trauma? I'm FD Signifier, and this has been Light Work.